There is a term we had coined in my early startup days, and of course, now the market is different. And now, a lot of companies that we all hear about are B2C companies. Now, in the consumer market, I shouldn't say relatively easy, but this whole thing of first customer is relatively easy. You can find the first customer, consumer customer in your house, right? Among your friends. I mean, that's a lot easier. But when you are in the infrastructure, the technology space, the enterprise space, that's where it is harder. We had coined the term in my early days of startups. We all know about software, hardware, firmware. Firmware is the microcode which is closest to the hardware, and then software works on top of it, right? So we had coined the term called vaporware. When you don't even have the product, you only have a slide set, or in some cases, in the most cliched way, in those early startup days, we say the paper napkin, the idea on a paper napkin, right? I do remember that I had raised money in one of my startups just with the vaporware. That is the idea on a that we few of us met, including one of the partners, general partners of a venture fund. We didn't have any paper, so we explained the idea to him on a paper napkin in a restaurant. And he said, well, I'll keep this, if that's okay, you sign it. I'll keep this is your copyright, this is your proprietary, so I'll keep this and discuss with my partners, and then you can come and make a complete pitch. And we did that, and we got funded. Of course, in the journey, we made a full proper deck, we got some customer validations and all that. But coming specifically to this, I would say first you need to have what problem you're solving for the client, and the client should be having that problem, you hopefully, right? And you discuss with the enterprise client or technology client that you're approaching, and how you're going to solve the problem. And then, once he let's say believes in you, he trusts your credibility in being able to solve that problem, then he'll commit to it. I have in my journey also gotten my first client to become my investor, because the problem was so big for him that he was willing to put some money in helping to build the solution without requiring any exclusivity. Of course, initially he said, give me 6 month exclusivity, which we simply refused. So he said, okay, as long as I am the first customer with this solution in the market, I am willing to put some money in. Of course, if you can get to that stage, there's nothing like it. But I think if you are building something that is similar to what you have built before in your life, that gives you the credibility in being able to solve the problem, right? I mean, if you see some of the successful entrepreneurs, we all see them as, okay, they did this great company, but if you look deeper into their background, you find this is their fourth company or fifth company. Even guys like the most successful guy right now, Elon Musk, this Tesla is his fourth, fifth, sixth company, something like that. So there is a track record, there is a credibility that gives the first customer, the trust that yes, this guy can solve the problem. And then how you're going to solve the problem, if he can again trust that part, then he's willing to sign up to be your client. Then, whether it's the right price point, right, and how it's going to be deployed. And then you will have to keep him updated throughout the process. That further develops the credibility, and eventually he becomes your first client. Other way to do it is, for any startup founder, I would suggest, when you start your company and your solution is a highly complex technical solution, you have gotten some customers' attention using the vaporware or slideware. There's another term we used to use. Vaporware was a paper napkin, or slideware was when you have the slide deck, right? So slideware, that you form a customer council. If you are able to raise some money, that also helps clients to trust that you have 5, 6, 10, 20 million dollars. So somebody else's money, and that will go towards solving a problem that I have. They're willing to sign up to become your customer council members. That I would always recommend to every, not only startup, but anyone who's on a customer finding journey. Form a customer council. Basically, make customer part of your company. Of course, in the customer council, you may have to, let's say, reimburse them for their time, or in some cases it is not allowed because they are part of a larger company, or in some cases they will welcome that, or give them some stock, or give them some non-qual options, things like that, so that their time, spending their time is justified, right? And once you do that, customer council folks are able to help you, and eventually some of them will become your clients. So these are some of the known good ways: vaporware, slideware. Start with these things, and then once you have the initial or alpha, beta, and all that, deploy the solution, build your credibility, and then they find that okay, you're able to solve, provided your solution is unique to a problem that is really hurting them. Now here I would also like to give an anecdotal thing, that the problems, there are a lot of problems people have, or different kinds of problems customers have. Some problems are like, for which they're looking for solution, but it's more like a vitamin, right? Solution is like a vitamin. Oh yeah, I like to solve this problem if you have a solution, but I can live without solution also. I mean, my life is running fine even if I don't have the solution. But there are some problems which are like headache, migraine. Are you a vitamin or aspirin? If you are an aspirin to the headache, to the migraine that he has, you have a killer. Customers lined up for you, right? People are struggling to keep up with this Zoom link thing, right? Zoom link, Teams link. I mean, somebody has to solve this problem here. Just make my computer log into the link so that I don't have to look for the link. That to me is an aspirin. If somebody can solve the problem, right? Very important for people to remember this. Usually it's your employer who could be your first customer, or your client that you worked with, or you worked alongside, the vendor. People know you there, right? So it's very easy for them to trust you. So even if you don't have a solution, say, well, we know if if we are going to willing my last dollar, if I'm willing to bet my last dollar on a horse, and this is that horse, well, then you have the customer, no?